online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
When it comes to keeping your equipment running, you've got options at Landmark Implement. Whether you need premium John Deere parts or a more economical solution, A&I parts from Landmark deliver the dependable performance you can count on with cost savings up to 40%. From filters and bearings to belts and everyday repairs, A&I parts are built to work as hard as you do while helping stretch your budget further. Stop by your local Landmark Implement parts counter today or shop online anytime at shop.deere.com and experience the Landmark difference.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Attention all Wings fans, Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting lincolnteammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today. If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at gainatrucking.com.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contests, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Welcome into Serve and Volley, featuring Nebraska assistant coach and recruiting coordinator Jaylen Reyes. Serve and Volley gives you a look behind the curtain of Nebraska volleyball and a coach's perspective on the world of college athletics. Serve and Volley is sponsored by Love Volleyball Nebraska. Become a Love Volleyball Nebraska member for your chance to engage with Love and its players. Now it's time for First Serve on Serve and Volley with your host, Jaylen Reyes.
All right, welcome back in to Ticket Weeknights. We got another coach on board. This is Serve and Volley with Nebraska Volleyball assistant coach Jaylen Reyes. You guys are welcome to join in. 402-464-5685, Facebook, YouTube, X, Owl, Channel 961. All great ways to put a face to the voice. And another Tuesday where we get to talk about another 2-0 weekend for Husker Volleyball. Husker Volleyball, they took down Wisconsin, Oregon over the weekend. And now I believe, what are they sitting at? Yeah, 22-0 and have yet to lose a set to a Big Ten team. Before we get in all of that, Jaylen, how's it going on Tuesday?
Great. Can't complain.
Absolutely. It's good to see some Husker wins. Obviously, we talked about it off air. Husker football takes a loss. Tough to see that one, but wrestling, it looked good in the Navy Classic. We just heard about that with Mark Manning. Husker basketball, Husker women's basketball off to a good start. And of course, Husker volleyball still staying at 22-0. And they got the big one versus Wisconsin. Number 11, Wisconsin. Nebraska took them down 3-0 on Friday on the road. And there's all sorts of numbers with that in terms of Nebraska's dominance over Wisconsin in these past couple of years. And now it's a bit of a tide change. But nonetheless, thoughts on just that game going on the road, playing in Wisconsin. I think the crowd was good too. I saw somewhere between like 7,000, 8,000.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I want to say in the last couple of years, it's been a bigger crowd. And I think the fact that it was Halloween maybe hurt that. Weather was actually really nice up there. So I could see, I know Wisconsin football, I believe, was on a bye. It was a Friday. I know some people, obviously Halloween on Fridays, parents have to probably take kids trick-or-treating and stuff like that. So it wasn't, the crowd was great. Don't get me wrong, but it wasn't, I expected to look around and not see a single empty seat in the house, but up in the upper deck, there was a few. But no, I mean, per usual, it's a great crowd. Student section gets into it. Of course, they're all dressed up just because it was Halloween. I mean, it's one of the really, really awesome environments, the field house in Madison. And we were able to kind of withstand some runs from them. And
you guys seemed to get better as it went on.
Yeah.
Or Wisconsin was sharp, actually, I thought, pretty in that first set in particular.
Yeah. That was the tightest set. Just to recap, we got off to a good start. We got a lead. And actually one of their a serving sub for them, I believe she's their third middle, maybe their second opposite, because she played a little bit opposite in the third set. But Natalie Wardlow, she's actually a former Lincoln Southeast girl, freshman for them. She's playing for Wisconsin. And she basically served, they were down 5 or 6 points, and she served them back into the set. In fact, I think it was like 18-13, 18-14, and she got them back. A couple of aces, a couple of good serves that led to points for them. It was 18-18, and then we went on I believe a 6, what would the math be? 7-5 run to finish that one, or 7-4 runs, finish that one 25-22. That was, they were sharp. We were sharp. First set was definitely some high level volleyball, and credit to Natalie and Wisconsin battling back and, tying it up. And then credit to our girls. That's a place where when that team goes on a run there, that can turn into like one of the loudest venues. And it got pretty loud, especially after their second ace. Danny called a timeout, and I mean, that place was loud, really, really loud. And, I've been there where I've been here long enough now where we've been to that space where they're on a run, it gets really loud, and we fold and give a set away. And, credit to our girls. They just kind of withstand the storm there, and we're able to power through, grind out a great first set. And then honestly, the second and third sets were very similar, but we just never gave up the run. So we got out to a good, it's kind of close early. We got out to a good run to get out by the mid-teens. We were kind of the first to 15, both in all three sets. But the key, the difference between the second and third versus the first is we never gave up like this massive run that got them back into the game. And, honestly, one of the most, I still remember the score was 21-9 in the third set. And there was a delay in the game. And the trippiest part of it all, honestly, was seeing a lot of their fans leave the game before the game even ended. Like that it wasn't even like, oh my gosh, that felt good, yada, yada. It was, I did not expect this to go this way, if that makes sense.
No, I mean, absolutely. And it's just kind of the run Husker volleyball's maybe been on. And that's not you credit the Husker volleyball run, but we've talked about some of the Big Ten teams before, and they're still really solid. But, you look at Wisconsin, still a great program, but obviously maybe not what teams were expecting this year. Same thing with, you got some of these bigger programs that are maybe struggling a little bit, or it's just Nebraska volleyball's really caught that much ahead. I know Texas, I think they lost, 2 straight?
Yeah, this weekend, if you're a volleyball fan, it was a crazy weekend in terms of like the upsets. Not just Texas going down twice, but you had Arizona State losing. You had Penn State losing. I know Penn State's kind of on a different run than a lot of people thought their season was, but they lost 2 matches this past weekend. If I go through all the other conferences, I mean, there was like, it was like, I don't know, 5 or 6 top 10 upsets, top 15 upsets this past weekend, which in volleyball you don't typically get. I can imagine if it was a college football weekend and 4 or 5 of the top 10 college football playoff, which I believe rankings come out today. Is that correct? Tonight?
Is it tonight? I thought it might be tomorrow. Okay.
I think it's usually a Tuesday. So
let me fact check.
And hopefully my BYU Cougs are in the top 10, but
I would say they should be.
I think so too. But if it was a football weekend like that where that many upsets came out, it would be just mayhem, especially for the voters on Monday. And but yeah, it was. I don't know, to answer your question. I think we just played really well, and I think it was. I kind of call it like competitive maturity, to where I thought they did a really good job of, hey, Wisconsin's going to go on some runs. They're going to make some great plays. They have some great players. But we're just going to make them, they have to be great for a long period of time to beat us. And, thank goodness we were able to kind of hold them off there. And we kind of, in fact, I think even in sets 2 and 3, be able to pull away from them for sure.
What do you think the switch of really just controlling the tide of the game versus Wisconsin? We had that text last week where, you had that recruiting class, and it wasn't just obviously all based on Wisconsin, but talking about some of these games, is it just been the talent has been X's and O's? What has kind of led to the switch of where Nebraska is really taking over?
First, I think the talent of the class with, Andy and Harper and Laney and Bergen leading the way there. You have Rebecca Alec that's played in this match for a long time now, being a senior, right? You have Taylor Landfair, even though she's been with us for 2 years and went on a Final Four run last year. She was at Minnesota. And, I know one thing I've learned is Minnesota probably doesn't like Wisconsin more than we're supposed to not like Wisconsin, So I think there's just we're in a really good space in terms of talent, but it's also now you look around our team, there's a lot of seasoned talent that's been in those games before. For an example, I heard actually Coach Sheffield say this. They only, from our matchups the last couple of years, they only have one player that was on the court playing against us on Friday, Carter Booth, one of their middles.
Yeah.
The only player that have been in these games before with Nebraska, Wisconsin. They've had some transfers, so like Mimi Collier, for an example. We've been playing against her, but that was her first taste of the Nebraska, Wisconsin versus. We have a lot of players that have kind of tasted this rivalry now, especially, 2 years ago, we played them twice, and last year we played them 3 times. So a lot of our players, this is their 6th, 7th, 8th time playing against Wisconsin, and not most of our players, they're not their first time in the field house. So I think that's a big deal for us. I think that's helped a ton. I just think mindset wise, it's just, I would be lying to you if there's not certain programs or certain games. All the games are important, but I'd be lying to you if I didn't say, hey, there's a couple of games or there's a few teams out there that, we look to, hey, we like to think we're a bar setter, but we want to see how high that team's bar is, if that makes sense. And I could sit here and lie to you and say, hey, we do that with everybody, but that's not sports. That's not
it's like Michigan and
nature.
Ohio State.
Yeah, it's like, hey,
every game's the same, but this one.
Yes, this one's a lot. I would assume, I guess in a normal year, I know Penn State football is kind of going through it, but when those teams play Penn State, that's another game where, okay, hey, where are we at? Where are they at? Kind of a thing. So, and it's great because in the Big Ten, there's a lot of those programs. So, it allows us to, hey, we don't get to hang out and relax because guess what? We have, a really good Illinois team coming in Thursday. And I know you're going to get to that, and then obviously there's another program that we play on Saturday in Minnesota. That's another one of our, hey, there's a bar set and we want to measure our bar versus their bar.
Absolutely. And how do you keep that, again, that competitiveness going? Because you're talking about just the talent you guys have, but even a person like Bergen Riley, who is great, is known around the country, is great, gets awards for it. Next season gets better. And now she's absolutely on the tear, especially this over the course of this weekend, where even just individually, you got players with great accolades that, can maybe coast and still be one of the best players out in the country, but they just keep getting better along with everybody else on the team.
For sure. No, I mean, let's use Bergen for an example. Bergen's there's still things that she's getting better at, and she wants to add. She wants to find ways to become more offensive herself, right? Hopefully we're trying to push her to like, why don't you turn and hit some of these balls instead of just dumping it or setting it over the net? Call two shoot is what we call it. Let's like expand. Basically, let's grow. If we were basketball players, we want to grow each and every one of our bags. Like we're trying to get something else, one or two things by maybe the end of the year. That way we feel comfortable. So that way that it's just another thing other teams have to prepare for us, and stuff like that. And, that on an individual level, there's still some, just because, hey, you're a starter, obviously some people have cemented their spots, but there's still some spots that, there's some people on the bench that are playing really well. So we're still just making sure everybody is getting better, and, the focus is inward, and that way we're always on the next practice and the next match. And, how can we get a little bit better today?
Let's talk about Oregon. Obviously that was Sunday, right?
Sunday afternoon. Yes.
Sunday afternoon. You guys had the Ducks win that one 3-0 as well. That one was back at home. How was the crowd? I was always got to ask.
Crowd was good. No, crowd was good. Students took a little while to get in there. If I'm being honest, I would assume maybe some festivities from the blackout games Saturday night.
A lot of studying. Late night
I'm
studying.
Sure studying really took place. But no, crowd was great, as they usually are. There's always like there's always like a little cloud, I feel like, in the Vanny Center after like a football loss. You can just kind of feel that. Typically it always, if I remember we experienced this once earlier this year where when the boys lost to Michigan in the afternoon and then we played in the evening, we played Arizona. You could just feel the
little bit of dread in the air.
Yeah, I don't mean it to be a bad thing. I think you can feel like, hey,
yeah, they're Husker fans.
We need a pick me up, like and stuff like that. So, definitely could feel that Sunday afternoon. And Oregon, credit to Oregon. Oregon came out and played great. That was really tight first set.
What did they have in that first set? That first set, that was 21-25.
Yeah, that was another set that honestly it was like 17 all, 18 all, and honestly we didn't come out serving and we didn't serve and pass that great. Especially at the start. We passed a lot of balls over the net. We were able to make some defensive plays on their overpass attacks. So when we serve receive it, we pass it over the net to the other team, to the other team's blockers, and they go to hit it or push it straight down. We were able to make a lot of defensive plays. And typically usually when you give up overpasses, you're basically giving up a point. So the fact that we dug, 3 or 4 of them and those first, 17, 18 points really helped us, because if they scored those points and it's 20-14, first set probably looks different, and then we got a game, So I also just thought Oregon played really well. I think they came out, you could hear their coaching staff anytime they were about to hit the ball, like telling them to go for it, right?
Yeah, and we talked about the coach because this is first year, right?
Yep. Trent Kirsten is one of my buddies growing up. We played volleyball against each other in college. I played at BYU, go Cougs. He played at UCLA. He was a big bad Bruin, is what we like to call them, or dirty rotten Bruins, as a lot of other people say in the men's volleyball world. But he's such a good dude, and he's done such a great job from having a roster that was gutted after the coaching change this past January, having all of his best players transfer. In fact, Mimi Collier, who we played against Wisconsin, was an all Big Ten, all Pac-12 player a few years ago for them, and she had one more year, and she decided that during the coaching change she was going to make a switch. But yeah, no, they've done a great job rebuilding the team and getting them to play how they want them to play, and they're going to just keep getting better. They're going to keep getting better players, and he's got a bunch of kids that transferred in and just believed in him, and they're playing really hard right now. And I'd love to see them. Obviously, we're not playing them anymore, so I'm now cheering for Oregon officially. But
I am now too at this point, because I just for any team, I just like teams that compete.
Yes,
even if they don't have all the right pieces yet. I was impressed by Oregon.
Yeah, no, they played well, and it's really hard, right? When in any sport, it's not just volleyball, right? Where it's easy to just say, yeah, we're going to go for it. But like, okay, when you're out there, are you going to go for it? When you go for it and, the other team hinders your ability, or maybe you go for it and it doesn't work, or you go for a serve and you hit it in the middle of the net. Like the next time you go back there in front of a crowd that typically most people don't play in front of all the time, are you going to go for it, right? It's all great talk, right? Is the Mike Tyson saying, like, everyone's got a plan until you get punched in the mouth?
Yep.
So, credit to Oregon. I thought until maybe 2/3 of the way through the third set, they were playing really well. It was just, I just think we did a nice job in certain situations of just managing what they were doing, and they're going from the service line. They were doing a nice job attacking, but I thought our defense picked it up. I also thought we just started serving the ball better. So in the first set, we served it pretty easy. So what I mean by that is we're not missing a ton of serves, but there was no pressure. And when I say pressure, that doesn't mean serving aces all the time, but getting their setter off the net. What I mean by that is serving the ball, driving the passers back, and then making the setter run off the net to set the ball. And that's just not an ideal situation for offenses to be in.
Just like getting pressure on the quarterback.
Yes, exactly. Right. So then you just affect. Serving is like a great pass rush. It's like, I'm not going to say the easiest way to affect the other team's offense, but it's like the first line of confusion, the first line of, if you do this well, it doesn't matter what else they do. It's just like, hey, it doesn't matter if your wide receivers are faster than my corners. If I can just get to the quarterback before they even throw the ball, it's
disrupted before
it doesn't even matter, right? So I just thought we did a better job. I don't know. Honestly, probably starting in set 2, because I didn't think we served it with a ton of pressure in set 1. But I thought set 2 we started serving, and then set 3 we came out and just kind of finally got them like really uncomfortable offensively, getting them off the net, and then the block could get in the way. And I thought the floor defense in the Oregon match was really good in terms of the digging that were not the 4 people that are playing defense for us, but not the 2 blockers. If that makes sense. I thought they did such a good job of reading and adjusting, and once we got them off the net, we got them in not ideal situations, and they started tipping and roll shotting balls over the block, around the block. And I thought we did a great job of not just digging those, but digging him to Bergen so she can transition them, and then we can kill it back at them. So I thought it took us, if I'm being honest, a little while to get going on Sunday. But, again, credit to our team. They answered the bell again.
When did the cloud disperse? At what point does that happen after Husker football?
I feel like once we start playing volleyball, I don't notice it anymore, because maybe I'm just like
that's probably a good thing
in the game, and maybe hopefully the crowd can get going in the game and stuff like that. But I just feel like during warm-ups there's this like awkwardness of,
I'd imagine it's gone as soon as
when the football team either lost the day of or the day before, and and I also think like a lot of us ride or die with them and stuff like that. And I'm really bummed for Dylan. That's just unfortunate. And bummed for, a lot of people get hurt in football, but obviously, that one's going to be talked about and written about here. But really bummed for him. Kind of texted with him the last couple of days, and he seems like he's in really, really good spirits. And
seems like a great leader.
No, I think he's going to be obviously he's going to be bummed, but I'm sure he's going to be there supporting TJ and the rest of the boys. And, hopefully they can go to LA and pick up a win this weekend and kind of get back on the train. But, just I think that was probably the other reason too, is just like, it wasn't just a loss, but it was, every time you lose your starting quarterback for any team, that's never an ideal situation to be in. But I feel like once the game starts, that kind of all goes away, / maybe that's my attention on it goes.
I can imagine it goes away as soon as it starts. Because if you've been to any of the home matches in particular, like it's too raucous and fun of an environment to, like, your mind will just force to get off.
Yeah,
or whatever.
They do like a cool light show before the game and in between sets 2 and 3, so that probably helps too. But yeah, usually it's around the start of the match that everything kind of goes away and everyone becomes a volleyball fan now.
Yeah, well, it's a easy thing to do, especially in these times. With that being said, we do got to throw it the break. Don't go anywhere. Serve and Volley, Nebraska Volleyball assistant coach Jaylen Reyes.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
Did you know that deer collisions are covered under the comprehensive portion of your car insurance? That means, like with hail damage or vandalism, since they are out of your control, they don't usually raise your insurance rates. And that's a good thing, since most deer don't carry liability insurance. At Eustace Body Shop, we fixed all kinds of animal collision damage, from cows to raccoons, bobcats, and even turkeys. We can't do much for the animal, but we can get your car back on all fours and looking like new again.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines, unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge, with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards, just south of 48th and Holdridge.
Calling all caffeinated Husker fans. Looking to boost your energy and focus? Caffeine alone won't do the trick. Enter Cranium Energy Drinks based out of Fremont, Nebraska, founded by lifelong Husker fans. Cranium is more than just caffeine. Every can has highly dosed nootropics that help boost mental clarity, paired with 150 milligrams of natural caffeine to provide smooth, long-lasting energy, as well as enhanced focus. Find it at Hy-Vee Health Markets in Nebraska and Council Bluffs, as well as select gas stations and supplement stores. Or purchase online at drinkcranium.com, spelled with a Y after the I. Enter code EARLYBREAK for 10% off your order.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People City Mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
I can't believe I just scratched that car. Find my insurance card.
Dude, what do you have in this glove box? Ew, are these socks dirty?
Oh, forget about the socks. I need my insurance card.
Just pull it up on the State Farm mobile app.
But I can do that? Oh, hey, I can do that.
Yep, it's called service.
I can file a claim on here too?
Yeah, it's called service.
Whoa, I can call my agent too?
It's called service.
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krikak, today at 402-474-1173.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at gainatrucking.com.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Anderson Ford in Lincoln has 2 convenient locations, which means 2 times the customer service, 2 times the inventory, and 2 times the ability to get you in the car of your dreams. Whether you visit us on the north side or the south side, you'll find more selection and a team that's always on your side. When you're looking for a better way to buy your next Ford, visit Anderson Ford in Lincoln, where exceptional service meets unbeatable selection.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly sunny skies with a light breeze. It'll be warm with a high near 72. Tonight, clear skies will be breezy with that low around 45. And tomorrow, we'll see lots of sunshine. It'll be breezy and cooler with a high near 58. I'm meteorologist Kyle for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome into Serve Volley with your host, Nebraska assistant coach and recruiting coordinator Jaylen Reyes.
All right, welcome back in segment number 2, Serve and Volley. Nebraska Volleyball assistant coach Jaylen Reyes joining me to my left. Harrison runs on the 1s and 2s. You guys are always welcome to join in via the Starter Heyman text line or on any of the streams. Facebook, YouTube, X, Allo, channel 961. Jaylen Reyes, if I had to ask you to nitpick, I was listening to some of the post-game and then reading some of the articles about it. You have to nitpick, but if there was something that the Nebraska team needed to tweak, patch up as they finish this Big Ten stretch here to get to postseason, what would one of those things be? I saw passing. I know Busboom Kelly talked on that as well in that press conference. But what are you to say to that?
Definitely serving and passing. I feel like
it's tough because
passing is one of those things where we're actually a really good passing team, depending on which metric you look at. We sometimes we give up too many aces sometimes, and we overpass too many balls. So for me, it's like, can we, at Nebraska, we grade passing as on a 4-point scale, starting with 0, going to 4. So getting a 0 is getting aced. So if you get aced, you get a 0. You get credit for a 0. If you overpass, this is where it gets confusing, but technically because it's not, the point doesn't end automatically. It's like 0.5. Okay. And if you just have a bad pass where the setter really can only set like one player, then you have it's called a 1-point pass. And then a 2-point pass is kind of something high in the middle of the court off the net where we can set probably to one pin or the other pin. And then 3s and 4-point passes. 3 is a really good pass on the net where we can set anybody. And then 4 is like right in the middle, nice and high, perfect, if that makes sense.
Okay, those like comfortable analytics that you can kind of get the story, or is it still
yes,
missing holes in there?
No, I mean, I think stats always kind of stats,
of course,
100%.
Yeah.
But for us, we can win the national championship putting the ball high and off the net and giving it that 2-point pass. That would be in volleyball. We would even consider that not in system.
Okay.
Versus most teams, for them to even be 500, they have to pass more balls in system than out of system. We don't necessarily have to because we probably have, in my opinion, the best setter in the country. And we can still set the ball with some tempo or some speed to the pin. We can still set Andy Jackson that slide off 1 foot behind the setter. And I think Husker fans out there can see we can still set the middle blockers, Beck Alec, Manayo Beche, and Andy Jackson from when the ball is off the net as long as it's high enough. Where we can't set those guys is when we start passing the ball sideways off the court get ace completely, obviously, or pass it over the net to where the other team now gets to hit it. And for us is we don't necessarily need to turn all the 0 passes, getting ace, the 0.5s, the overpasses, or like the really terrible passes, but it's still in play, the 1-point passes. We don't have to turn those all into 4-point passes, 3-point passes. Can we just eliminate as many of the 0s, getting ace as we can? And can we just turn those 1-point passes, those 0.5 passes into 2-point passes? Because you think about it, like, people around the country, people here in Lincoln, the volleyball world thinks we're pretty good.
Yeah.
And I still think we can get better at that phase. Now you're telling me if we cut how many times we get ace by even a third, because now getting ace is a direct point for the other team, right? Yep. If I pass a 1-point pass or a 2-point pass, just because the other team's at an advantage, that doesn't necessarily mean that's mathematically, they're not 100% guaranteed to win that point. Versus if we get aced, the other team 100% wins that point, right? That's like
easy math,
right? And then giving up overpasses, especially to great teams, you usually lose that point like 85% of the time, right? So it's like, can we just eliminate or lessen the amount that we are very, very skewing the odds in the opponent's favor, right? Versus when other teams don't pass perfect on the net, or they're in medium system or out of system, the odds go in favor of the defense, right? But for us, because we're physical enough, because we have a great setter that can really, she can be off the net and still set the things that most setters have to be on the net to do.
Right.
We change that odds game, if that makes sense, right? We're the ones who can kind of poke holes in. No, you don't have to pass it perfect all the time. Can we just not give away points in serve receive, And I think we're better than that for sure. And there's times this year where we've been like a really, really good passing team. But it's just, can we eliminate, and I guess for people, viewers out there, can we eliminate the times we get aced and the times we pass it over? Can we just lessen the amount that we do that? And that will already make us a better passing. Just think about it. If you're a baseball player, if you can just eliminate the amount of times you can strike out, that doesn't mean you have to get rid of all of them. Can you just put the ball in play more often? Because if you do that, that might lead to errors and on base. That might lead to more hits. Hey, if you don't strike out a lot, that leads to walks. That leads to eating up pitches, right? It's just, there's a lot of, I mean, obviously watching the World Series, you learn like the more pitches, everybody else gets to see that pitcher throw the ball more too, including yourself, but the people on deck, right? So it's one of those things where can we make other teams work harder against us than just purely just serve the ball and they directly get a point, So I would say that for me, it's passing. But when you say a specific skill, it's like, I mean, just like any sport, hey, we need to get better at scoring the ball in basketball. It's like, well, that's a very broad thing, For us, for me, it's can we eliminate the direct points the other team gets off of their serve, right? If we let's just say, hey, we pass good, we set somebody and we get blocked. Okay. Like that's already a time where we did not get aced. We need to eliminate a lot of those scenarios. And then by doing that, we give ourselves and our attackers even more chances to hit the ball. Because if we're not getting aced with the setter we have, we're probably getting a really good swing somewhere, whether it's a good pass or not. And usually when we get good swings, the odds work it out in our favor. The only problem is when we get aced, we don't get a swing.
So is it, you can correct me if I'm wrong, fair to say, you could, in theory, bump up your passer rating by being a little bit more conservative, but by the way you're playing it now, you lose some of that aggressiveness, which is leading to such an effective, because what's your hitting percentage, like 350?
So that's, for me, that's what you described as more attacking.
Okay.
Passing, I actually think a lot of it's because of sometimes the serves are really good, right? Like the other team's good too, right? We're playing all these ranked teams. So that's why we're going to overpass balls. We're going to get aced. Can we just lessen the amount? And a lot of it, it's I actually think a lot of the times we get ace, we're too passive, right? We want to try to keep the ball off the net, and now we pass it backwards and get aced, right?
Right.
A lot of it is also communication, right? Sometimes we'll get aced and it'll be served in between two players. And whether we think it's out or not, or we think maybe I'm going to get it, or you thought I was going to get it, I thought you were going to get it, we both just kind of turn, look at each other, the ball falls. Like, those are the scenarios for me that, okay, we need to clean up. There's going to be times where someone serves the ball, hits the tape, and goes over. Like, you're not going to always be able to fix those, right? Sometimes people hit a great serve down. Natalie Wardlow, a lot of her serves, there were great serves that, man, those are just bombs, right? But, then for an example, in the third set, she serves a ball. It ends up being an ace. But the reason it's an ace is because we play a ball that's going out of bounds, right? So it's, those are the ones, can we eliminate so that way teams don't get on runs and stuff like that? Because I don't know, in my opinion, knock on wood, I think really an only way right now, especially the way the teams are constructed in the country and compared to ours, one of the biggest things someone has to do is to completely get us off the net serving. And they have to score from the service line. So can we keep teams from being able to do that, over a long period of time, especially when we get later into the season here?
Okay, that makes sense, because I'm learning some more of these volleyball analytics.
My biggest thing. There's a lot of areas, right? Can our right side attackers, whether it's Ali Check or Virginia Adriano, can we not necessarily make them more efficient, but can we get them more efficient to where they start to see a few more sets per set, a few more attempts, so that way the defense can't necessarily key on one of our middle blockers, or the block doesn't just move out to Taylor Landfair or to Harper Murray. So I would say those are probably the two biggest things, but I think passing for us is probably the biggest thing. But it's not necessarily, we have to increase how percentage-wise the amount of in-system we are. That would be great. Don't get me wrong. But for us is the amount of errors or direct points the other team scores when they serve, like directly off the server.
Right.
That's where whatever it is right now, can we just lessen it by a fourth or a third? Doesn't mean we have to get rid of it. You're not going to get rid of them all. Statistically, that's not possible, right? We can't get aced one time in the season. You can't go back to zero, because technically that's not how percentages work. But can we just lessen the amount of times we give teams direct points right after they serve?
Well said. Couldn't explain it better myself. We'll get one from text line before we go to break. Todd from Omaha. This is the last thing, then we'll leave passing alone. He says passing is important, but is it really? To the novice fan, how do you explain passing at a 2.06 and hitting at almost 350?
That's a good question. See, so that's where I'm at, right? Where, what was my friend's name?
Todd from Omaha.
Todd, it's a great question. For an example, I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, Todd. You can probably look them up for me, maybe text them back in. But we actually passed better. We were a better passing team last year. One, we also had Lexi Rodriguez, in my opinion, probably the best college libero ever. So to a degree, you don't necessarily lose the greatest player ever in her position, and suddenly it's like, oh, we're better now. Like, I don't think that works in any sport, right? I mean, Tom Brady leaves the Bucks. I don't think the Bucks are better the next year. When Michael Jordan stopped playing for the Bulls, I don't think you can make an argument, oh, the Bulls were better.
Yeah,
no,
the board taking over for Saban.
Exactly, right? So
doesn't mean it's bad.
So Lexi obviously really inflated. I mean, even at the Nebraska level, she was such an outlier too. Even compared to passers that have played in this program, John Cook would tell you himself, like, he's never coached a passer like Lexi Rodriguez. But like you mentioned, we were hitting for a pretty good percentage. We did not hit as a team that percentage last year, right? I like to think also, if you look at the makeup of our team, we lost a great passer, right? But Andy Jackson and Rebecca Alec are back. They're both better than they were last year. Taylor Lampher's playing much better than she was. Harper Murray's playing much better than she was. We did lose Merritt Beeson, who was an All-American 2 years ago. But I think Virginia and Ali Check have done a really nice job stepping in for her at opposite. So we have we have the offensive firepower, right, this year. And they're just a little more experienced, especially the ones that I mentioned first. So no, that's what I'm trying to get at is it's not everything, because when you think about it, passing does not directly correlate to scoring a point. I mean, it does. It improves your chances, but killing the ball is a point. Serving an ace is a point versus you could pass it really good. We've played teams this year where they've passed better than us, but they still have to find a way to kill the ball, right? Just because you pass the ball perfect in volleyball, the referee doesn't stop and go, okay, point for this team, right? You have to keep playing. A perfect pass, in theory, helps you. It makes your offense a little more diverse. Maybe it allows you to set it a little faster, which makes it harder to block. But it doesn't necessarily guarantee you're going to win this point versus killing the ball. If you kill the ball, that's the definition. You scored the point, right? So that's actually a really good thing where that's why for me, Todd, when I'm talking about passing, it's not necessarily like, oh my gosh, we have to bump up the amount of great passes we have. Sure, by not getting aces much, just law of averages, some of those will end up becoming good passes, which will bump up that percentage. It's just, can we lessen how many times, can we make sure that we're playing volleyball and not just getting aced? Because once we start to play volleyball over a long period of time, I like our chances. I would equivalent it to this. Everyone, I don't know if people remember, but Andy Roddick was a American tennis player. His greatest strength was serving. But the reason why he could never beat Rafael Nadal and Andy Murray, Novak Djokovic, and Roger Federer is he was very serve-based. If he couldn't serve you off the court and you just got into the rally with him, those four guys, especially three of them, are like the greatest tennis players ever. So I'm not just picking on Andy Roddick. But once they got the ball, they just returned it back in. Then suddenly, Andy's game was serving aces against those guys. And if he couldn't, he was in trouble. Once they just got enough returns in and he started playing, they actually started playing tennis and not having it as a serve competition, over a long period of time, those guys won a lot of matches against Andy Roddick.
That's a good analogy.
So I think for us, it's just can we make sure that it doesn't turn into a serving competition? Can we make it to where we're playing rally volleyball and we're getting the ball to our setter, which I think is one of the best players in the country. And, if we're getting ace or overpassing, Bergen's not touching that second ball. So we need her to touch the ball a lot.
That makes sense, though, because a lot of the runs that you guys have given up on the year have been from serving.
Yep. That was the run against Wisconsin, right?
Yep, that was the run.
A couple times we overpassed. We're way off the net, so Bergen's running away from the court versus, when we're just Bergen's setting the ball, and even if it's not from the perfect spot, when Bergen touches the ball, she tends to improve our chances of winning. So for us, it's can we get her the ball more often? And sometimes if it has to be off the net, great. It's better than getting ace and giving the other team a direct point.
Well said. That is Jaylen Reyes, Nebraska Volleyball assistant coach. I'm Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. Don't go anywhere. Serving Volley. We got one more segment.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
And now, introducing the starting lineup of your Nebraska Huskers. Starring Allo Fiber. At number 1, Allo Internet. At number 2, no satellite dish required. DirecTV through Allo. And at number 3, Allo Mobile. Allo Fiber, the official internet, TV, and mobile partner of Husker Nation. Level up your game and go to allofiber.com/Husker Radio.
Imaging Surgery Center, located at 7555 Pioneers Boulevard. Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center offers compassionate, patient-focused care and provides outpatient surgery services, making it possible to have non-emergency surgery and return home the same day. Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center specializes in cardiology, vascular radiology, orthopedics, pain management, and much, much more. Give them a call today at 402-261-1085 or online at amimaging.com.
John Henry's has a brand new membership club to protect your entire home in one program. With a VIP and a deluxe option, we will help you find the plan that best fits your needs. Receive discounts on services and equipment, priority service, complimentary inspections, and so much more. Protect your home's plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical systems all in one membership. Call John Henry's to learn more.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
When the clock strikes 0 after every Nebraska football game, there's only one place to go for instant coverage. Tune in for the Husker After Party Postgame Show on 93.7 The Ticket for each game, win or lose. Call in with all your takes or text the show at 464-5685 and hear quotes from the players and coaches too. It's the Husker After Party Postgame Show, sponsored by Anderson Ford and Vinnie Krikak of State Farm Insurance.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now. In our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Hey, Husker Nation. This is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
There's always a new experience to be had at Arbor Day Farm in Nebraska City. From events, adventures, wine tastings, or the Discovery Ride, you can never get tired of seeing what the property has to offer. Make a weekend out of it by staying at the Lead Lodge and enhance your stay with their special packages that include luxurious treatment. Learn more or book your adventure today online at arbordayfarm.org.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Welcome into Serve and Volley with your host, Nebraska Assistant Coach and Recruiting Coordinator Jaylen Reyes.
All right, welcome back in. Final segment, Serve and Volley. You guys can get any last-second comments in here. Use the Starter Heyman text line, 402-464-5685. Almost forgot the Starter Heyman text line. But like I said, we got a couple more here. We'll get to, let's see here. We got 9133. This is Todd from Omaha once again. He's saying, we are not trying to nitpick. At least I was talking about the passing. We have an incredible team, and we are so lucky to be on the ride with you all. I love this team. Well said. Yeah, I am trying to nitpick a little bit because I got to find some things to talk about, ways we can improve this team. But no, they are at an incredible start here. We got another one. Let's see. 8985 chimes in. Seems to me that a lot of the teams are trying to ramp up their serving because it's so difficult to win points against us. If the girls receive the serve successfully, even if it isn't a great pass, providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. Nice. It seems to backfire, though, because while they may get a few more aces against us.
That was awesome, by the way.
For a second, I thought.
That was awesome. I was like, wait, I've heard this commercial before.
It caught me off guard. I had to read it. I was like, we're going to an ad form here. But finish this one off. It seems to backfire, though, because while they may get a few more aces against us, they end up with 3 times these service errors. Are you seeing maybe kind of some of the same things
Yep.
that the Wise texter points out?
That's the risk reward, right? Yep. I mean, you know, when you're trying to be so aggressive, you're going to make some errors, especially when you're having to hit balls, hit them flat, right? When you hit balls flat and hard, the risk is, hey, there's a net there, there's a barrier there that will stop the ball, and obviously that gives a point to the other team. And sometimes the ball doesn't float the way you want it to float. That's part of us too, is like making sure we're communicating early, because some of the balls we play, I would bet, I don't want to say a fourth or a fifth, but let's just say like an eighth of the amount of serves that we got aced on. I bet an eighth of them were going out, that either we got hit by or we played, because maybe sometimes it's hard to tell, right? Sometimes it's easy to tell after you pass the ball,
right?
But sometimes it's just a lack of either awareness or making sure attention to detail or communication, right? Sometimes the ball gets served at you, Harrison. And sometimes as me, because I'm either standing next to you and the ball is not coming directly toward me and it's going directly toward you, by the time it crosses the net, there's times where I can judge the trajectory and the velocity to where I can just, at the end of the day, right when you're about to pass it, I can like communicate and say out or say something to where maybe you get out of the way, you let that ball go. And we've done a nice job of that as well this year. But, you know, I think that's what I'm even talking about too, is it's not necessarily like, hey, we have to pass all the balls we got aced. We have to pass those perfect. Some of those we want to stay away from. Let them go, take the free points, you know, and that's kind of been a big thing in our, honestly, practice gym is, hey, we'll even tell some of our scout guys, hey, we need you to serve some balls out. And I know it's weird for me to say that, but we just got to make sure we're not just playing balls to play balls. We're playing balls that are going to be in. We're playing balls that are our ball. Even on defense, sometimes we get hit by balls that are teams are just going for it, right? Because they can't. If you play it safe against us to a degree, law of averages, you probably are going to lose, right? So people need to go for it. And when you go for it, they're going to be a little reckless. Can we just make sure when I'm not saying they're choosing to hit it out, but when they're reckless and they don't hit the block and it's going out of bounds, or if serving and I hit it as hard as I can, if it's going out of bounds, we got to be good enough to like judge that we need to play that ball or we don't need to play that ball, you know? And, but you know, that's, I agree. There's definitely been some teams that when they play against us, suddenly they just start hitting and a lot of balls out because one, I think our defense does that to teams, but also it's just, hey, it's not a great set, just hit it in. Not a great set, just hit it in. It's like, well, if you just hit it again against Nebraska, okay, you're not directly giving them a point. You're just delaying what's going to happen 2 seconds later because they're going to dig the ball perfect, you know, hopefully on the net, dig it to the best setter. And now it's like, well, now she's got, you know, 3 or 4 really good options that we're going to have to pick from. And they said Andy Jackson puts it straight down. And it's like, well, maybe we should just go for it because if we just keep it in against Nebraska, that's not going to work. So, but when you go for it, when you're more aggressive, just like you said, there's going to be more attack and more service errors.
Yeah, goes back to the
These
tennis
are great
analogy.
questions, by the way.
Yeah, I love it. You guys can keep chiming in. Although this one is wrapping up, unfortunately. We got one more here. Saying the way you coaches keep the girls motivated and non-complacent is insane. I completely agree. Real quickly, spend like a minute on each here. Not even that. Illinois, Minnesota. Just give me the keys for both games. What do you guys need to lock in on?
Illinois is a team that what we just talked about. They've historically been a team that just serves the ball really hard. They're gonna each serve their serve. So they're a team that doesn't necessarily, oh my gosh, we're gonna move our serving target to attack a certain passer. If I serve the ball great toward this zone, I'm gonna serve it toward that zone. Just think of like a Mariano Rivera, right? He's got 2 pitches, he's gonna throw them, and oh well, this guy doesn't hit a changeup that great. Well, Mariano Rivera only throws a cutter and a fastball, you know. So Illinois is gonna serve the ball really well, and then Minnesota's been a team that's like had to deal with some injuries throughout the year. They're another team that serves the ball really well. And then I think the other thing too is they have 2 very physical attackers. They probably have an All-American candidate and probably going to be an All-American again in Julia Hansen. Big physical kid, jumps really well, big arm, can score points. That's going to be a great match, and that's going to be another great environment up at the PAV that we're going to have to play against. But Illinois is definitely handling their serve. Minnesota's handling their serve and handling Julia Hansen.
Absolutely. Should be exciting to watch nonetheless. And again, that's Thursday versus Illinois. Got a Thursday game, 7 p.m. And then on the road Saturday versus Minnesota. And that one is the 2:30 in the afternoon. We will have post-game shows with Mandy Munson for both of those games. As always, appreciate you guys listening, though. That is Jaylen Reyes, the Nebraska Volleyball assistant coach. I'm Harrison Arndt, the ones and twos. Don't go anywhere. We got the Morning Pure Snell, the former Husker, coming up next.